Welcome to another one of my mental health campaigning videos. On the 24th of May, which is World Schizophrenia Day, schizophrenia usually is classified as an umbrella term regarding severe mental illness. World Schizophrenia Day helps to educate, campaign, and highlight issues about schizophrenia and psychosis, which can actually be quite an misunderstood term. Now, a little bit about the education regarding schizophrenia and psychosis. Now, some reasons why people get schizophrenia could be the result of genetics, perhaps combined with environmental stresses or childhood trauma that can contribute to the disorder. Those who suffer from schizophrenia will likely have, and this is just some of the feelings I'm going to mention, usually trouble making decisions, being able to disseminate with information, poor concentration skills, or difficulty focusing. And the symptoms can be related to someone's emotion. These usually will be around negative or positive symptoms, such as blunted emotions. Now, as a note, people with schizophrenia are far more likely to harm themselves than be violent towards the public, although of course there are some very rare cases. Since this video is about World Schizophrenia Day, estimated figures of those suffering from schizophrenia around the world, and these are estimated, usually I'd say 6 to 12 million people in China could suffer from schizophrenia, around about 4.5 to 9 million people in India. Approximation around about 2.3 million people in the USA, 300,000 in Australia, around 300,000 in Canada, 250,000 diagnosed cases in Britain. Going back to the symptoms, when learning about schizophrenia, you may hear the terms positive and negative symptoms, which I mentioned before. Now, the positive symptoms, and of course I'll be very brief about this because I'm not a medical expert, I'm just picked up stuff that I feel would be useful for those watching this video to learn about. Going back to the positive symptoms, these could be what is added when someone is suffering from schizophrenia, and these could be delusions, hallucinations, hearing voices, strange smells, sometimes you're feeling paranoid. Now, negative symptoms are basically what's being taken away when suffering from psychosis or schizophrenia. This is usually lack of energy, lack of motivation, social withdrawal, just being wanted to be left alone. The outcomes of schizophrenia, usually with a good support network, the outcomes of those living with schizophrenia can be good. Support to the carer and the cared for must not be underestimated. The outcomes without support leave those suffering the following, and that being that those suffering schizophrenia could end up being homeless or living in shelters, in jail or in prison, living long term in a hospital, ending up in a nursing home or in a supervised housing environment. And one of the worst is if they receive next to no support, they can end up taking their lives. Now, there are a lot of reasons why those suffering schizophrenia suffer from a lack of support, and as stated, I'd only briefly touch on this subject. And they range from those who suffer from schizophrenia may just want to deal with the illness by themselves, and they want to just independently tackle the issue by themselves. Obviously, and this is I think one of the biggest causes, is that those suffering from schizophrenia perhaps receive little to no support due to a lack of insight into their condition, where the clinician did not intervene. Another big cause regarding lack of support to those suffering this severe mental health issue or illness is that there can be a lack of funding into providing medical or psychological support. Again, we can't avoid the situation, because this is slightly a carer mental health channel, is that there can be lack of support to the carer. And when I mean carer, I mean a person who's close to the patient or cared for, and the carer being unpaid, usually within a family structure, a friend or neighbour, desperately trying to support that person. And if there's no support given to the carer or family structure, this can trickle down to the cared for or patient or service user getting no support for themselves. Other reasons is that the person suffering from schizophrenia or psychosis can be unsure of where to go for help before a crisis or during a crisis. And lastly, a sad state of mental health system, perhaps anywhere, could be that help was not forthcoming, or it was too late. Now, with good outcomes, sufferers can live independently, obviously with medication or psychotherapy. Can end up living with the carer, family member, as mentioned, independently. Unfortunately, the last part of this video is that it's a sad fact that there is no cure for schizophrenia. I know perhaps within 10 years' time of this video, they may find a cure. But with the right kind of help, as I said, with medication, psychotherapy, and a good support network, plus, again, support given to the patient and their family, a person suffering from this illness can live a fairly good quality life. Thank you for watching this video, and hope to see you again soon. Goodbye.